In this video, we're going to be covering the basics of Excel Part 2, and we're going to begin with an autofill function. So looking at this worksheet, you can see that these are monthly bills. We have dates across the top, we have amounts, and we have different categories of those costs per month. We also have a monthly total, which is currently blank, an average utility, and an average grocery, which is also currently blank. So the first thing we want to do is we want to talk about, again, the autofill function. And if the data in a workbook or worksheet has an established pattern to it, Excel can detect and automatically continue that pattern. So an example of where this can be helpful is with dates. So looking at this budget, notice that we begin this budget with 8/1/24 and we end with 12/1 or December the 1st, 24. So if we wanted to carry this forward and roll into the new year, we can do it. So to do this, you just want to highlight the items that have the pattern. So we will select B2, and we can just hold down the mouse button and drag until we get to F2, and we can highlight. Again, this is what we want to extend the pattern. So then you can click and hold and drag the tiny square at the bottom right-hand corner for as many cells as you want the pattern to continue. So it's probably really hard to see, but the right-hand corner of what you have selected, there's a little box, a little green box. You can click and hold that, and then you can drag this over. So we're going to drag. Notice it's giving you a little preview. So 1/125, 2/125, 3/125, 4/125. So we just want to fill up the empty space, and we want to allow Excel to autofill this January, February, March, and April of 2025. And so that can save you a little bit of time, especially if you are trying to autofill much larger sections of data. The next topic we want to look at is functions and mathematical operators. So one of the best uses of Excel is the fact that complex functions and calculations can be executed very quickly, and there are many functions that are built into Excel, and they can be viewed by clicking on the Formulas tab. So once you click on the Formulas tab, you're going to have categories where these different functions are housed. So we can go up here to Formulas, right up here on this tab, and notice we have an array of different function types. So financial, logical, text, date, time, lookup, reference, math, trig, and more functions. And you can click on each of these drop-down menus and we can see we have statistical, engineering, cube, information. So a lot of what you might use is going to be under this more functions and then statistical, and then you can scroll down and you have all of these options. And so these are all functions that are programmed into Excel. And so again, notice on the right-hand side of our worksheet, we have average utility, and that's blank, and we have average grocery, and that's blank. So that would be referring to this utility. If we could find the average of the monthly costs that we have already, and the groceries. If we find the average of the groceries that we have already, that would be very helpful. And so let's go ahead and do that. So the way that we want to do this is let us select L7. And the reason I'm selecting L7 is because that's where the output, or where we want our answer to be for the average utility. Once you select this, we can again go to the functions, more functions, statistical, and we want to find the average or the mean. Now these mean the same thing, but the word that they use inside of Excel is average. So we can click average. And what it's going to do is it's going to ask us for a couple of what they call function arguments. And these are just going to be the starting points and the ending points that we want to find the average of. So we want to find the average of all of our utility values. So B7, C7, D7, E7, and F7. So you can hold Control and select all of these, or you can click the first one, hold Shift, and click the last one. And then notice now you have the dancing dotted line, green box around the data that you want to find the average for. In this case, you click OK, and that's going to give us our average value right there. Now the nice thing about using this function is if we go back and we figure out, okay, the October 1st number was wrong, we could change that number to something else, and our average would automatically update. Now there is another way that we can find the average. Let's not even worry about the functions. Let's just click on the first item we want to average, again hold Shift, and click on the last item. And notice right here at the very bottom, it's very small, but in text it says average 21403. It tells you the count, how many items or data items are there. And it also gives you the sum. So if you just want to find a quick average and you're not going to have to go back and potentially change data later, you can just select the items you want the average of, and it will give you the average or mean at the bottom. But again, If you want to use the function, it will allow you to adjust these values and it will automatically recalculate for you.